95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, presented by Professional Floor Covering.
And it is time for Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Community Comment is presented to you by Professional Floor Covering and Abbey Design Center at 713 Park Avenue right here in Beaver Dam. You can visit them online at proflr.com. They are locally owned. Randy and his team are here to help you design the perfect space for you. They have over 1,000 samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, tile, area rugs, and window finishings. It's so much more than floors. They have a wide selection of kitchen and bathroom countertops, cabinets, tile, shower inserts, and more. But speaking of that flooring, when you choose from the carpet, hardwood, laminate, LVP, tile, stone, and area rug options, Randy and his team will come out to measure, provide suggestions for you on types of flooring, and they'll look for those price points to meet your budget. Standing by in the Daily Dodge TV studios, here is your host of Community Comment, Terry Bell.
Thank you so much, Corey Sparks. This Community Comment, and our guest today is Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMaa. If you have any questions for the chief, go ahead and join the conversation. You can call or text at 920-887-9595 or give us a call at the studio at 920-885-4446. Welcome back to the program, Chief.
Thanks much, Terry.
Nice to see you. And since the last time you were on, when we've been talking about all kinds of crazy weather that's been happening, and yesterday we had the mayor on the show, and online too, in the midst of a lot of our severe weather, he gave you some nice props, as they say online, for your role in keeping people safe during some tornadic activity that you had in the Waupun area.
Yeah, so one of the other roles, I guess, that I fill within the city is the emergency management director. So, you know, anytime we've got severe weather coming through the area, we typically try to work very closely with the police department and then members of the fire department as well, to try and make sure that, you know, any severe weather that may be getting close to the area, that we're monitoring it. We usually send out a few vehicles with spotters, you know, helps get some eyes on things coming in. The other advantage to that is it also gets some of the vehicles out of the station so that in the event something were to happen to the building, you know, we don't have it full of vehicles that we now can't get out of the station. So, yeah, that particular afternoon, you know, in the morning, it started out as, I would say, more just a general notification from the National Weather Service that severe weather was likely that afternoon. Tornadoes, they kind of felt were going to be on the low end. So as the afternoon kind of progressed, just keeping an eye on different things that were going on, some different social media sites that are available to us. We ended up picking up on a feed of a spotter that was actually tracking a storm that had just come through the Beaver Dam area and had moved north. And as they started talking about that storm dropping a tornado between here and Waupun, we decided to activate our sirens locally before the actual warning came out from the National Weather Service.
It's been a very unusual summer for storms and tornadoes and heavy rains. How has that had an impact on public safety efforts? Have we been able to keep up? Is it starting to get a little demanding? How has it been for resources?
Yeah, I think it's been good. You know, the National Weather Service for us out of Sullivan, Wisconsin, does just a tremendous job in terms of community outreach. If you have large events that are going on in your local municipality and the county, they will take your information and they will provide very specific weather, almost hour to the hour weather information for you so that you can make decisions throughout the duration of your event. So like for Celebrate Waupun for us, we would get a daily briefing email every morning. If there was any type of severe weather that was within whatever is defined, so for us it was within 20 miles of our fairgrounds, we would get a call from National Weather Service staff letting us know if it's winds, if it's lightning, whatever the severe threat is going to be, so that we can make decisions on, okay, do we need to shut down any of the amusement rides? Do we need to start getting people moved into a more secure structure until that weather passes? So again, a shout out to our folks in Sullivan. Our National Weather Service, I think, does a great job working with our local communities.
Very good. We are speaking with BJ DeMaa. He's the fire chief in Waupun, and we will be right back after this break on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Uh-oh, it's summertime and you know
Daily Dodge. Let's send it back to the Daily Dodge TV studios with your host of today's program, Terry Bell.
Thank you, Corey. We are talking with Waupun Fire Chief BJ DeMaa. If you would like to join the conversation, you can give us a call or a text at 920-887-9595 or call us directly at 885-4446. We were talking about all the crazy weather we've been having this summer. Waupun had some crazy weather last summer too, and a lot of flooding mitigation steps are being taken. Last night, the City Council voted to purchase some land for a stormwater pond. And what sorts of other things are happening so that you don't experience the same kind of flooding you did a year ago?
Yeah. And I think the challenge there is always, we talk about weather, and the days of where we see, a quarter inch, half inch here, half inch there, we seem to be seeing more of these events. Texas is a perfect example that comes to mind where, communities are dealing with 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in very short windows. So that really makes it difficult, even from a community standpoint, to try and mitigate that. Most of your municipal systems are simply not designed to handle that type of volume. And quite honestly, it becomes extremely expensive if you were to try and really over-engineer a system to handle those events that happen, once a season maybe. So there are other things, though, that, a community will look at, your retention ponds, really trying to direct that water where areas that, provide minimal, if no impact, to your residents or your businesses in the community that can store this water until, the nature can slowly absorb it and allow it to exit the community without causing too much damage. We've got a Harris Creek that goes through our community, so they've done different things there to try and widen that, make sure the river is free of any obstructions, anything that could slow down the water being able to move through the community in as quick as possible.
Kind of a hard pivot here, but upcoming is Fire Prevention Week. That's a big event for you and your crew.
Yeah, so this year, every year, the National Fire Protection Association puts out a theme, and this year's theme is Charge into Fire Safety. Within the fire service, we hear more about lithium-ion batteries and really the dangers that come with those types of batteries. So we really, the message this year will be focusing on making sure that people are using the appropriate cords. So, everybody, you think of a cell phone, that's probably the easiest thing to tie that to, but, you get your charging block and over a period of time, the cord goes bad. Well, you end up buying a cheapest cord you can find, something that's really long so that you can keep it plugged in. And, what we do end up finding is there are certain products that don't go through the same rigorous testing in other countries that they do here. So, making sure that you're purchasing the appropriate equipment, stuff that actually is for, whatever phone type you have, whatever the device type is, so that we don't run into these fires with, if it's a failure of the cord. Lithium-ion batteries, there's a phenomenon that they call thermal runaway, where the battery basically has a fault in it, and it just starts this chemical process of overheating, and it really can take quite some time for that process to stop. That's one of the challenges we run into on electric vehicle fires nowadays, is there's, upwards of 10,000 batteries, individual little batteries in all these cells, and it takes a while to try and either cool that battery cell externally, because there is no real access to the batteries from the exterior, or you just have to let them run their process and finish burning out. So it's lithium ions. We're gonna see more of these types of fires down the road, simply because there's more of them being used.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about electric cars, to be honest, but, are there any telltale clues that a driver could pick up on to let them know that perhaps it's time to do something about it?
Yeah, it can be very subtle. Even your fire departments, there's limited training available yet, simply because the technology in, commercial type applications, so vehicles, there's just not a lot to go on right now. So the automotive industry is trying to do more to try and standardize that process, so that it's not, vehicle to vehicle, that we've got to be thinking, what do we do for a Chevy versus what do we do for a Ford versus any other make and model. So but yeah, even, you see a lot of your hoverboards, your e-bikes, those are all devices that use the lithium ion batteries. And typically it starts with a very small wisp of smoke. You'll see it start to smoke, and really from there, it can rapidly evolve into a full-grown fire. And it's plastics, right? So the smoke becomes very black, very choking. So even in a room like this, you can lose visibility real quick just from a little scooter starting on fire.
And phones and other devices in the home are getting to be more of a problem too, it sounds like.
Yep.
So I think we've all experienced that phenomenon where suddenly and inexplicably our phone gets really hot. And is there anything you can do at that point to cool it down, to kind of head off any problems of the past?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there is, especially if it's charging and you notice that it's extremely hot, unplug it from the charger and see if it cools down. From a public safety standpoint, the best practice, make sure that you're not charging your phone near your bed. Some people, we've seen stories of they'll charge it, but they'll tuck the phone underneath like the pillow, which prevents the battery or the device from being able to breathe, right. And it can cause it to overheat that way. So whenever you're charging anything, it's always the best rule, I guess. Charge it while you're awake, and that way you can take it off the charger, and it's one possible failure that you can take out of the equation, especially while you're sleeping.
And the batteries seem to last longer too, so it's really not necessary to keep your phone plugged in overnight.
Correct. Yeah, that is one of the advantages of the lithium-ion batteries is the longevity of them. So, obviously, as time progresses, the technology will get better, and hopefully that threat is minimized through future technology.
By all means. So Fire Prevention Week, when is this?
So Fire Prevention Week always falls on the week that October 9 falls in, and that ties back to the Great Chicago Fire. But this week or this year, it'll take place October 5th through the 11th.
Okay. And by then, school will be in full swing, and I imagine Fire Prevention Week is a good opportunity for you to do outreach to young people.
Yeah, absolutely. That hands down, probably my most favorite week of the year. Just having the opportunity to work with the kids. Usually for some of our daycare centers, it's a field trip to the fire station where we'll present our message. We show them the different gear that a firefighter wears, and then show them the trucks and give them an opportunity to kind of do that show and tell type thing at the fire department. But then for our schools, a lot of the classes are bigger, so they don't fit quite as easily into the rooms we've got at the station. So we go to the schools then, and we give the same presentation, but we just bring all our stuff with us. And especially for the younger kids, we all look very different when we're just dressed in our normal clothes. It's another thing when we've got all our gear on, we've got our mask on, we're breathing air out of the tank. It can be a little intimidating. So to try and give the kids an opportunity to see us what we look like normal, put our gear on, and know, hey, it's still the same guy or girl, in the equipment, that, we're not quite as scary as we look.
Sure.
It's a good opportunity to try to break that ice in a non-emergent situation.
Absolutely. And I also imagine it seems as though that the public safety sector is reaching out to younger and younger people, very young, to sort of plant the seed of future careers in their minds. But, there are some people as young as high school working in part-time roles in public safety.
Yeah, one of the things that you really see with high schools nowadays is, and I shouldn't say just the high schools, but it's with employers as well, is the youth apprentice programs. Last year was our first year participating in the actual youth apprentice program. Prior to that, we called it our high school intern program, so it was more just a program that we ran through the fire department. But it gives our high school juniors and seniors an opportunity to spend some time with us every day, to attend our trainings, to come on calls, and really, start learning what are the specifics of a career in fire and EMS. So it's been a great program for us in the last 2 years. Out of the 3 individuals that have gone through that program, all 3 of them have joined the department at the completion of their apprenticeship. So that really helps as we talk about, you kind of look at your full roster and say, okay, is every generation represented, so that when our older firefighters start to retire, we've got that next generation of firefighters that can come in and provide that staffing for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Very good. Our guest is BJ DeMaa, the fire chief in Waupun. We're going to take a break here for the news and come right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
What does belonging mean to you?
WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. This program is being brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings. Join McKinstry's for Taste and Create Nights tomorrow, July 31st, and on August 28th. Shake up your summer nights with everything from tea blending to sign making, and from yoga activities to haunted museums. Downtown Beaver Dam is full of creative stops just waiting to be explored. Whether you're hands-on with the art, into vintage vibes, or want to try something new with a friend, this is your chance. You can also join McKinstry's Home Furnishings for Tips and Sips. Enjoy a glass of wine and popcorn while learning tips from their designers. They have a living room, family room, bedroom, and dining room set up on their main floor, complete with accessories to give you some ideas to work with. They will have different options set up each night. Also, you can sign up to win a $500 gift certificate from McKinstry's Home Furnishings. Grab your friends and join everyone at McKinstry's. Come sip, shop, snack, and create at Tips and Sips in downtown Beaver Dam. Here is your host of Community Comment, Terry Bell.
Thank you so much, Corey. We are talking with Waupun Fire Chief BJ DeMaa. If you would like to join the conversation, go ahead and text or call us at 920-887-9595, or you can call the studio at 885-4446. And we were talking before the news about the importance of, making sure that there's a timely staggering of rollover in the department, young, old, and in between, so that the department is always fully staffed. It does remind us that you are celebrating a couple of retirements.
Yeah, so we had a couple of long-term members recently step away. Dave Dewar had served 27 years with the department in varying roles, working up to the position of a lieutenant. And then also Wayne Opperman was another lieutenant on our department that had retired after 26 years. So a total of 53 years is a long time. So it's a lot of experience that we use, but both individuals did a great job on our department of helping get that next generation of firefighters prepared with the knowledge that they're going to need to become hopefully the next 27 and 26 year veterans of the department.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the apprenticeship programs. What does a new apprentice then do after that in order to establish their full-time career?
Yeah, so for our department, with the apprentices still in high school, Moraine Park has done a lot of work, especially in the last year. Obviously, the building of their new public safety training facility over in Horicon, but they've also started a high school program that allows high school seniors to be able to take college courses, and really, by the time they're done with their senior year, they graduate with their Firefighter 1 certificate through the state. They'll graduate with, they've got the option for their EMT basic licensure through the state as well. So, when we talk about not only volunteer departments, but for career departments as well, those are two big things that for a student graduating high school to have those certificates already really helps set them up well for pursuing whether they're going to volunteer in their local community or to go after a full-time career in the service. It really positions them well. I know I would have loved to have had that opportunity back when I was in high school to spend part of the day at the fire station and learning the ropes.
Yeah, and get your career a head start by at least a few years.
For sure.
Yeah. How well staffed are you in Waupun right now?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of activity on the personnel side. We just had 2 individuals start with the department back at the end of June. We've got 2 more that will actually be going through orientation tonight, and then we've got a number of other individuals that are going through our hiring process right now. So by this fall, our hope is to be close to fully staffed, maybe 1 short yet.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's, what we keep hearing over and over is especially the smaller volunteer departments are really struggling right now.
Yeah, they are. And, I would say if we go back probably 12 to 18 months, I would say we were in a similar position. We created a recruitment and retention committee that really took a deep look at, not only retaining the individuals that we've got, but what do we need to do differently in terms of outreach within the community, within our schools, to really try and figure that piece out. How do we get that next generation in? And to this point, I mean, that committee has done just a phenomenal job of coming up with those different outreach pieces to appeal to the younger generation. The 6 to 7 firefighters and EMRs that we're going to be bringing in, most of them fall in that under 30 category, which is the one area that we had identified through our department study was our weakest area in terms of staffing.
I imagine mutual aid is a big part of your mission. So, even if you are fully staffed in Waupun, you're probably, I'm guessing, helping cover other outlying jurisdictions that maybe aren't as fully staffed as they'd like to be.
Yeah, mutual aid has definitely changed the game for a lot of departments. And it's not just specific to your volunteer departments anymore. Your career departments like Fond du Lac and Beaver Dam would be two of the closer ones for us. They run into the same staffing constraints, whether that's due to call volume or whether that's due to staff that are just scheduled off and are not available. But we see our volunteer departments helping our full-time departments just as much as our volunteer departments will call on our full-time departments to try and help. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's all driven by staff. And each department knowing, during a weekday, daytime response, what do I know I'm going to get versus what am I going to need? And that mutual aid usually gets called sooner than later in most events now.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many calls would you say your department responds to, both, in Waupun and without?
Yeah, so within the city, we're a little unique right now in that out of our Waupun station, we actually run 2 separate fire departments. So we've got our city proper and then our townships, which covers the townships of Chester, the majority of the town of Waupun, and then about a third of the township of Trenton. So between those 2 departments, we run anywhere from about 225 to 250 fire calls a year. And I would say out of that, probably around 10 to 20 calls are for mutual aid going to other communities.
Very good. Our guest is Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMaa, and you're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We'll be right back.
From dog shows to dairy cow.
So much, Corey. Our guest is Waupun Fire Chief BJ DeMaa. We're talking about a lot of different things about public safety and fire prevention in Waupun. If you have any questions for the chief or would like to make a comment, go ahead and reach out to us. You can call or text at 920-887-9595 or call us here at the studio at 885-4446. Your department, your crew, you're getting ready to undergo some training.
Yeah, so one of the questions we always get in the community is, how many fires have you had? And within the fire service, it's definitely one of those professions that over time has really evolved into all hazards. So one of the upcoming trainings that we've been working on is with a local implement dealer, Ballwig Implement, on farm safety training. Another member and I had an opportunity to go down to, I'm trying to remember, I think it was the Allenton area earlier this summer, and do some focus training on large animal rescue, on grain entrapment. But coming back from that, we knew there was an opportunity to bring some of that training back and partner with a local business on, what are the risks that we see here. So with Ballwig, we've got an opportunity to go through some of the different pieces of equipment that would be used in the fields around our community and talk about what would some of those entrapment issues look like. How would we manipulate the equipment to be able to get somebody out if they were trapped? Or you think of like a combine, somebody has a medical emergency up in the cab. Those are a ways off the ground. So how would we safely get a patient out of the cab of a tractor or implement and get them safely to the ground for further treatment?
Yeah, that's something that I don't think would have occurred to me. Maybe that is an important thing for you to know. Do you find that training, these ongoing professional development opportunities, is it to brush up on skills that maybe firefighters already have, or is this to take on new issues that keep arising?
I think it's both. Again, if you approach it from that all hazards lens, there's plenty of things that we know we have to focus on in terms of, looking back at previous call volume and what are the call types that we see. Those are the things we know we need to be able to do well. But then there are new and emerging things that we'll see in a community where it's like, okay, we haven't seen this type of call in the past. What can we take from that to be better prepared in the future? One example that I could use is we recently had an accident that involved a fuel truck that had just filled up with 8,000 plus gallons of gasoline from our fuel farm just north of the city. In that particular incident, it involved the tractor, but we started asking more questions on, okay, what if this accident would have involved the tanker itself and we would have had leaking gasoline? So some of that is brushing up on, okay, what does our response to leaking gasoline look like? How do we ensure the safety of our team and any victims that would be involved in that? But then taking it a step further, can we work with the fuel farm north of the city, or do we need to reach out to a transport company to say, hey, could we have one of your experts come in and talk about the tank specifically, and what would happen if the piping was damaged underneath the trailer? Is there any safety valves built in that would be able to stop the leak? Or from an industry perspective, what do you recommend as a best practice for mitigating that?
Sure. There's another big event coming up. Other communities call it National Night Out. In Waupun, you call it Community Services Open House. And this is a great opportunity, I think, not only for the public, but for you and your staff as well.
Yeah, so this is an event. I believe this will be the fourth or fifth time that we've taken this approach where, rather than it just being a fire department open house, we really bring in all the services that our citizens would see in the community. And everybody has a couple pieces of equipment down there, and just everybody under one roof. It gives folks an opportunity to kind of that. Like a touch a truck type perspective, but utilities, DPW, our rec department, library, police, fire, EMS, all our different community services all meet at the fire station, and it gives the public an opportunity to see the different things that that each department has and interact with folks.
Do any people who come away surprised by something they learned that night that they maybe didn't know before?
Yeah, I think in some regards they do. Everybody tries to switch things up a little bit every year, and maybe show a different piece of equipment than what was shown in the past. And I think it gives the community an opportunity to see the equipment and understand a little bit where their tax dollars go.
Absolutely. And again, and we talked about it earlier, but I imagine any kids there are really enthralled by what they see.
They are. Any time they get to play with things, and I'll use our Survive Alive house as a perfect example. They'll run through that multiple times during the night, and at the end of the day, it seems like rinse, lather, repeat. But from our perspective, out of that night, if one student, one adult remembers something that we talked about and it keeps them safe in a future incident, the event was worth it.
Sure thing. And that is coming up. When is this Community Services Open House?
Yeah, so that'll take place during Fire Prevention Week. It'll be Monday, October 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Public Safety Building.
Okay. And that whole Fire Prevention Week is October 5th through the 11th?
That is correct.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to remind people about that's upcoming in the last few minutes we have in the program?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay, so we'll run those down once again. So Fire Prevention Week, that is October 5th through the 11th, and the Community Services Open House, October 6th. What time is that?
5 to 7 p.m.
Okay, all right, so about a 2-hour window there to take advantage of that opportunity. And, of course, some of your staff is going through some training then upcoming. When is that exactly?
Yeah, so the training for the farm implement with ball wigs, that'll take place probably in early September. And then we do have a couple of additional training opportunities. You'll see fire apparatus operating in and around Dodge Correctional and Waupun Correctional institutions. Any type of an incident there, obviously, with the security measures that are in place, there's a few more moving pieces in terms of coordinating responses there. So this will provide us with an opportunity to be able to play out a few different scenarios and understand water movements, available water supply at the institutions, and again, just prepare us for any potential incident that would take place at those facilities.
Very good. Our guest has been Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMaa. B.J., it's been an hour well spent. We really appreciate it.
Great to be here, Terry.
And thank you for joining us on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Professional wrestling returns